Now, these little chatty things that we do, on account of the fact that I'm, it could end up on my show reel and I'm trying to look professional, they've kind of got a themey thing going on. And this one, I know it doesn't sound very friendly, it's called Name Droppers.
Sure.
Because... share with us your name. Share with us your name. And
Anthony Devito. And then the title of my show, obviously, is My Dad Isn't Danny Devito.
But it looks like he could be.
Wow.
Are you absolutely sure?
That is not a compliment. He's not a neutral-looking human being. He played the Penguin.
That was prosthetics. Not everything.
I don't think they had to do much, to be honest.
You do know for sure he's not your father.
For sure. I've done Ancestry.com. I've done it all.
Wow.
DNA tests. Yeah, I've gone to his house.
Hung about outside.
Yeah, I know. There's a big restraining order against me.
Has that been lifted now? Yeah.
We're in talks,
Now, I want to know how this came about. You've got starred, not that you're not fabulous.
Okay.
And you are undoubtedly you've just won the prize for Cheekbones of the Day.
Oh, thank you. They're new.
And how did you and Adam Hill? Because he doesn't seem like a directory type of person. How did you meet him, and when did he decide he wanted to direct your show?
Well, we met on Twitter through a mutual friend when I was looking for a place to stay in London, and he offered me a place to stay. And so I just
kind of Twitter and not, one of these dating apps.
You know what? It was Twitter.
Okay.
And if Twitter didn't work out, I probably would have ended up on Tinder trying to find a place to stay.
Well done, Twitter.
I didn't know who he was. Like, coming from Canada, I didn't know who he was. I just knew he had a lot of followers.
Okay.
So when I went to stay with him, he was like, "Oh, I have to go do my show." I'm like, "Oh, like, where are you performing?" And he's like, "Oh, on TV." I was like, "Oh." I don't know how I ended up scoring a friend like that right out of the gate, but he just got really excited about my excitement getting ready for my very first Fringe show. And so I kind of made a joke one day. I was like, "Maybe you should direct it." And he was like, "I think I want to." So that's kind of just how that became about. And I'm very grateful because I think he's my friend for life, whether he likes it or not. So
even if the show gets 1 star.
Well, if it gets 1 star.
Sorry, I didn't mean that to sound threatening.
That sounded very threatening. I gave you a hug. That should get me at least 2 stars.
Better than no stars, right?
So far, you've opened up with you could be Danny DeVito's kid.
Yeah,
and how
1
did you
star
snag a famous director
exactly.
with your
I'm sorry, you should have been briefed. I'm not known for my warmth and my friendly attitude.
This couch has more give than you do.
Now, the main reason we called this little delightful, whatever it is that we're doing, Name Droppers, is that there's that thing, he's worked with them all. He pretty much literally has worked with them. He himself is deadly dull, but the people he's worked with are astronomically fascinating.
Yeah, it's really actually in my show I say I'm going to drop a lot of names, and I don't normally ever do that. But I also in Hollywood...
I don't believe... How can you have had the life you've had and not constantly... As I was saying to...
I never looked... I was never starstruck, and I talk about it in my show that my heroes were my mom, my dad, and Bugs Bunny. But I just happened to keep working with
Give us a list, come on.
Okay, well, I actually almost did a movie with Danny DeVito.
Oh, really?
And he was very nice. Him and Stacey Shear run the company. I don't know. Sir Sean Connery, Mel Brooks, George Clooney. Oh God, I'm blanking. Mel Brooks, Stan Lee, and I were creative partners for 15 years.
Stan Lee?
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. Yeah.
That might be him on the phone now, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Jakey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he's busy. Call his agent. Okay, one thing I do need to know, because I'm Scottish. What's Sean Connery like?
Fantastic.
That was a correct answer. Well done.
I tell the story during the show, so I don't know if I'll tell the second story with Sean Connery if you want to hear it. The first story is...
I love a man with more than one story about Sean Connery.
Well, the first story was, I will say this, Sir Sean, as I called him.
Sir Sean, yeah.
Sir Sean and Mel Brooks and I had lunch with him, and he was almost in Robin Hood Men in Tights. And I'll tell that story at the festival. It's like fantastic. What he came up with was absolutely brilliant. Second time I saw him was years later. I'm going to drop another name. It was at a Billy Connolly event. And it was so sweet. So up in the top row, there's all these people. I don't know if they were Scottish Americans or from Scotland, but there's like 500 people and they're dressed in kilts and they've got bagpipes and it's a big celebration.
Okay, so they weren't Scottish. They were definite. No Scottish, no actual real Scottish people would be, no, they were American.
Okay, so they were American Scottish. Yeah, we Americans don't know shit about culture.
Yeah.
So they're in the audience and like behind me was like Steve Martin. I mean, it was filled with luminaries. And out walks Sir Sean, and they go nuts. I mean, nuts. But this was the sweetest thing I ever did. Sir Sean turns and he looks at the stage because he thinks Billy Connolly has come on the stage, and he doesn't realize it's for him. And someone pointed that out to him, and he realized it, and it was very nice. And then he sat down. Long story short, my friend had actually grown up next door to him, although I thought he was lying, in the Bahamas. And he lies a lot, my friend. And he goes up to Sean, and I'm like, let me see this. And sure enough, they start talking, and I'm actually very shy. I said, fuck it. I got up, I went over to Sean, and I introduced myself, and he didn't remember my name, but I said Robin Hood. He went, I'm going to do a very bad Scottish accent.
Go, that's
he went,
fine.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights. What happened? Why wasn't I in the movie? And we spoke for a while, and just such a sweet guy.
And that was in his Cockney phase.
That was in whatever phase. Yeah. Americans don't know accent. They think when I do a Scottish or Irish accent, it's brilliant. Here, I'm going to hurt people's ears.
Man, what part did Sean Connery maybe play?
I'm going to save that for the show.
Fair.
Yeah.
So although
Yes.
I think we've established, and for the time being, let's say I believe you, that you're not Danny DeVito's son.
Yeah, for sure.
You are kind of seriously connected in...
Yeah. My dad was a made man in the prominent organized crime family.
Are you
Do we know
allowed to
what
say
I know?
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
I mean...
So far, so good, but sure, this could be my last interview.
In New York? In New York?
Yeah. So it was in North Jersey, but it's like a subsidiary.
I'm North Jersey.
Oh, okay, yeah. You might know him.
Englewood.
Oh, yeah, Bloomfield.
Okay, what was his name?
I can't say that. That I cannot say.
Then quite literally, he'd have to kill us all.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. You guys seem so sweet.
Yeah, you didn't come tooled up. Did you know?
No.
He was a mobster when you were growing up?
No, never. I knew nothing about him, just except what my mom told me, which were just,
Oh, you didn't know him?
No, he died when I was 7 months old.
Oh.
So, he kind of...
Did he die a dramatic death?
He did die a dramatic death, yes. But yeah, I'll save that for the show.
Okay, sorry, yes. We're going to run out of things to... I mean, if nobody's going to talk about anything that's in their show.
I'll do my whole show right now.
Do it. I say we go with that. He was found in a trunk, to just say that, yeah.
Wow.
Yes. But I didn't know that. I found that out at 30 from the internet. 18, I just found out that he was involved. I knew nothing about him. My mom obviously wanted to keep that from me. Then 18, found out he was involved. And 30, sort of found out the gruesome death that befell him. Yeah.
And do you, when you found out your dad was connected, did it make you feel kind of proud, or you know what I mean? Go, shit, my dad was a mafia guy. Or did you think, oh, that's absolutely dreadful. No one must ever find out.
My mom was the one who, for me, yeah. Because I was like an 18-year-old kid, you know what I mean? I was like, my dad's a criminal. I can't wait to tell everyone.
Yeah.
But then, my mom was like, yeah, that's the one thing you can't do. And the look on her face, she was crying when she told me. So I was like, I didn't know what it was, but I was like, oh, it's something very painful and serious. So that was the reason I never wanted to look him up, because it would ruin whatever image I had created of him. Even though, you know what I mean? You could be connected in that world, but there's hierarchy in that world.
Oh, so, absolutely.
I've
seen The Godfather.
Right.
So it was like
you were probably in The Godfather.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I have a Marlon Brando story as well. Marlon Brando and I almost did a TV show together. It was a game show. That's a whole other story. But, so it's like watching The Sopranos, like watching family movies?
To some degree. Yeah. It's a little bit like home movies. But yeah, so like I never wanted, because I had an inkling that whatever I looked up was going to be something that was going to be there was no way I was going to be able to reconcile with that.
Yeah.
So in the beginning I was like, all right, maybe he was a bookmaker. Doesn't necessarily mean he was a violent guy. Just could be a bookmaker. This is the life that he was in. And then at 30, when I found that out, and then found out the crimes that he had committed, there was more ambivalence towards him, and I've carried that ambivalence probably till this moment.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, do you believe that a propensity to violence and criminality is in any way genetically passed on?
I really don't think so. Like, I mean, there are moments, like, I mean, I'm pretty laid back, but, you know, I have a temper, and there are those moments where I'm
That's a nice way of you asking, have you killed anyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, if that's your question, loads. Oh my God, I can't stop. But no, it doesn't. Like a lot of the show deals with that, like the idea of nurture versus nature.
Okay.
The idea of like, yeah, he could have been me and I could have been him, but we just grew up in these very opposite worlds.
So what have you and Adam Hill? I just can't get my head. Adam Hill, I saw the very first show he ever did in, I think it was like very early 2000s, and I reviewed. And everything he's ever done has been very kind of audience-led, and it's kind of all very relaxed, right? So the idea of him directing is, what did he just watch and then go, well, that's a little bit, no, that's not funny. Why don't you do it this way?
Like, so he listened to a lot of the material. I had 2 albums out, and we kind of went through them and figured out not just what was funny and what wasn't, because it's all funny. So we kind of went through how to put it together to make it into a story about my life and not just me telling jokes to people, you know?
And can I just ask, what is wrong with you telling jokes to people?
There's nothing wrong with telling jokes to people, but I think for something like The Fringe, especially, it's my introduction to the industry here. I just moved to London. So it's not, I want people to know that, yeah, I'm funny, but I also do have a story behind me. You know, I completely uprooted my life to move to London and try to make it on my own. Like, my husband and family are all still in Canada. I'm here by myself. So
You've left them?
I did. I mean, I didn't leave them. We're still together, but
Oh, I see.
for the time.
You didn't just walk out on them.
No.
I'm running away to London to become homeless and get picked up off the street by a one-footed Australian stand-up.
No, but I came here alone.
Like you have a guy in mind?
I'm sensing. Yeah, so you isn't it normally the other way? People run away to Hollywood.
Well, okay, full disclosure, I did get approved for my American green card 3 years ago, and I still don't have it. The backlog to actually get it and get in for your consulate interview is so long because of COVID that when I found out it was probably going to take another couple years.
Well, COVID and Trump.
Yeah. So when I found out it was going to take even longer, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go to England because I could get the ancestry
So we're very
visa.
much second best.
You are, but you know what? I love it so much. I don't even know if no offense, you guys, I don't even know if I want to end up in America anymore. I'm having the time of my life.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm having the absolute time of my life, and getting ready for The Fringe has just been phenomenal and really fun. And I am really lucky to end up with like a friend like Adam who is also a great director. And you know, I just hope that like this goes the way that I want it to. So I don't end up, you know, back on the streets of Canada begging all my friends to take me back into their circles.
Yeah, I mean, you do seem like a bit of a force of nature. So, and those you can't fail with cheekbones like that.
Well, you can write about that and give these 5 stars at least. So.
They're fabulous.
Great cheekbones.
So, you know, it's mafia people know mafia people.
Sure.
Canadians have phenomenal luck and meet internationally renowned Australian comics. How did you get plugged into the ridiculous number of huge stars?
I got really lucky. I grew up very poor. My family was not in the movie business. My dream was always to move to LA, and I was a bit tenacious. I've always been someone who liked challenges. I was born with certain issues, and so I wasn't afraid to contact. I'm very shy, but I wasn't afraid to contact people. And actually, the first big one was Mel Brooks. And then I'll give that away. That was, I met him because my dentist that I went to wanted to be in the movie business, and he knew someone who worked with Mel in the 1970s, and I was stupid enough to think, oh great, I'm going to come up with an idea for a script, I'll give it to the dentist will give it to Emil will give it to Mel, and it would happen. Everyone thought I was stupid. And then from there, I started getting a reputation as a writer, and so...
A good reputation.
A good reputation, yeah. Definitely not as a human being, but as a writer.
A tenacious little...
Yeah,
but a great writer.
Yeah, I had these really big producers say to me something once, and as a compliment, they said, "We don't know how you do it. You're cocky and humble at the same time." And I really
nice combo.
I thought it was a big compliment because I hope I never come across as arrogant, but I do believe that you have to believe in yourself when you go after something. And so I just kept, after Sean, so Sean was also in the movie. That kind of what Gary Oldman wanted to be in it, and so I started to have people come to me as a writer and then as a director. And
so that was like the big plug-in, and everything, a lot grew from that. But if you hadn't been good, nothing would have happened.
I believe so, but I did write the worst movie ever made, and that led me to Stan Lee. And that was a movie with John Travolta and Forrest Whitaker called Battlefield Earth. And my name is up there, even though it's not my script. It is the worst fucking movie made in the history of fucking movies.
Wow. I think we want to get online now. Did I ask how you got, probably not, how did you get into stand-up?
I always loved stand-up as a kid. But yeah, same. I was really shy. Never thought I was somebody who could be up there doing it. And then it's kind of like anything where it's like, if a thing grabs you more than it is other people, you kind of know that means something. And then eventually went to college for architecture, worked in an office for a couple of years, didn't love it, kind of had that feeling of like, I don't love it enough to get through the boring parts to get to whatever the end of this is. So finally was like, let me give stand-up a shot. Liked writing jokes, and it wasn't as terrifying as I thought. And then, the rest is kind of history.
You didn't find it terrifying?
I found it less terrifying.
Really?
It was scary, but it wasn't scary to the point of like unmanageable, I would say. And I liked writing jokes.
You're lucky, because I was like this in the beginning.
Well, it's less scary than real life.
Yeah, kind of is.
That's how I feel,
Wow.
Like I'm definitely more comfortable talking to a room on stage than I am at like a party or like meeting somebody again.
There's a great Johnny Carson line, which he said, he put me in a room with 100 people, I'll melt into the wall. Put me in front of an audience of 1,000 people with a mic, and I come alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But surely that's therapy that you need. Or is comedy therapy?
Oh, well, I should be in therapy for sure, but I think comedy allows me to ignore that fact, and it is my therapy, because when it goes well, there's no other feeling in the world, and when it goes bad, I mean, obviously it's catastrophic to me mentally, but lucky for me, I'm in the point of my career where it goes well more times than it goes bad, so it is therapy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, can't believe how much I love your jacket, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I don't like to buy new clothes because clothing is a terrible thing for the environment.
Yeah.
I normally buy used clothes, but I have a good friend, Robin Diskett, who became my executive producer, and she wanted to style me. And what's funny about this, so she sent me these clothes. I'm like, this is what I used to wear, and my sisters would be like, are you leaving the house with that? And I'd buy them at used clothing shops for like $1 or $5. And God knows, this is a guy named Joe Banana. God knows how much his cost it came. And I'm like, well, this is the stuff I used to wear from thrift shops.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, where is your show on, and what's it called, and are you here for the duration, or are you some kind of lightweight that's gonna...
No, this is, I'm brand new to this. Never been to Scotland, never been to Edinburgh, never been in the festival, never done this show. This is my first, and it's out of my comfort zone. I'm not doing stand-up, I'm telling stories, although I hope there's humor in it. But I'm at the Gilded Balloon, in the billiard room, every night from the 3rd to the 29th, starting at, it goes from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Karen Corrin gave me a spot that I was just like, I literally, when
and
I found out.
The billiard room is not too big.
Right. She had talked about the bigger room, and I was like, no, I'm not ready for that.
I didn't realize you're a quite old virgin in terms of
Correct.
Edinburgh.
This is I hadn't done stand-up in 4.5 years. And so I was going to do traditional stand-up, and then I brought on 2 people because I kept making great comments as a director. One is a guy named Lolo Dieger, and the other was Elizabeth Rayner, my ex-wife. And they completely kept going the stories. And I'm like, oh, but I love, because I talk about my views of religion and my views of wokeness and my views of the world as it is. But I moved, so there's no traditional stand-up. It's all storytelling, which is outside my comfort zone.
Well, so where's your show on? And
It's called I'm With Stupid.
I'm With Stupid.
Yes.
Where did the title come from?
Well, there used to be a T-shirt in the 90s that had a picture and an arrow.
Yeah, the arrow.
So it's pictures of me, 4 pictures pointing, because of all the stupid things. I did many stupid things in my life. Thank you.
Do you have a T-shirt?
I might now. I'm going to rush out and make some.
So you're on where, when?
I'm Underbelly at the Jersey Room at 8:30.
Oh, the Jersey Room, nice.
Yeah. There you go. And it's called Be Your Own Daddy, which is because I think part of the reason why I left Toronto, especially during the pandemic, I just started to, when there was no stand-up, fall into like being more of a housewife. And a comedian, and that, it wasn't the worst, but it scared me. I was like, this is not what I want. So that's why I kind of ended up here trying to make it on my own, and that's what my show's about.
That is brave. I mean, that is grabbing life by the balls.
It's
and
been
squeezing.
hard. It's been hard, but I've had, like you said, Canadians who come over. We just kind of end up a little lucky. Like I've met the right people. I just kind of fell into a really good groove with a great group of friends very quickly. So I feel very blessed. I don't know what I believe in terms of God and stuff, but I feel like someone in the universe was watching out for me, because thus far things have been absolutely phenomenal since I left Canada.
Wonderful. Now, criminal boy.
Criminal man.
Criminal
please.
man.
I like that.
Guy.
I'm
guy.
almost 40.
Yeah. So, where, when?
Just a Tonic at the Mash House at the Bottle Room, 7:30.
That is a fantastic venue.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a nice intimate room. I think
Yeah.
it's like a 60-seater, so.
And the whole vibe of it, I think,
Yeah.
suits what this...
I think so. There's like a dark alley you have to walk through to get there. It all,
Yeah,
I think it
it
all
is so
adds to the
cool.
criminal
Wow, that
element.
works
Yeah.
perfectly for your show.
That really does.
Yeah, because you know,
Yeah.
you could hire, instead of having flyers,
I was
people
thinking
fly,
this. I know
you
you're
could
talking
have
about.
muggers.
I was thinking this. 100%.
You have a picture of you in a mugshot?
Everybody just gets blindfolded and
Yeah.
comes to in your venue.
Okay, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
You better come to the show. Have a cookie.
Oh, wonderful. Still love that.